Let's look at two questions from the world of politics which can be powerfully and effectively used to your advantage in many types of different civil cases, including personal injury cases and employment and wrongful termination cases.
Thanks for 5 minutes.
Secretary Austin, last week, General McKenzie repeated that he has many regrets about the botched, deadly, and embarrassing withdrawal from Afghanistan, and that he supports investigations into that withdrawal. A moment ago, you said you executed the president's order. You didn't tell us what you advised the president to do, but do you have regrets about the withdrawal from Afghanistan?
I support the president's decision.
Do you have regrets about the withdrawal or how the withdrawal occurred from Afghanistan that cost the lives of 13 of our service members?
I don't have any regrets.
So this question, do you have any regrets about something that you've done which was clearly wrong, either by mistake or intentionally, is such a powerful question at trial or at the deposition. Let me give you just two random examples from the worlds of injury law and also employment law. Let's say you have a case where a security guard of a store assaulted an innocent customer and caused them all kinds of injuries. And let's say that security guard has been complained about before by other customers of having violent propensities, of having temper, and just generally overreacting. And let's say that security guard has never been disciplined about any of those prior incidents. And let's say the manager of that security guard is sitting on a stand at trial, and the lawyer who represents the victim who was assaulted by that security guard, he's asking that manager the following question: Mr. Manager, do you have any regrets of never disciplining the security guard that caused this injury, of never even talking to him about the issues that were brought to your attention by other customers? You would be surprised to find out how often these types of managers say, no, I don't have any regrets. I followed our policy. I did everything right, or I did the best I could. Instead of saying, you know what, I should have, I could have, I tried, or anything like that, usually they say no regrets. Now, this type of testimony obviously communicates to the jury that not only does this company or does this manager not realize that they did something wrong, they're likely to do the same in the future because clearly they didn't learn a lesson from their previous mistakes. And this often translates into a more favorable, a more generous verdict for the plaintiff because it makes the company, the business, the security company look all the worse. Let's take another example from the world of employment law. Let's say you have a disability discrimination case where an employee was denied medical leave after he requested such leave to undergo cancer treatment. And let's say the HR manager who was in charge of reviewing and evaluating that request is being asked, do you have any regrets for denying that request for medical leave for your long-term employee who you knew had cancer and instead terminating him? You would be surprised how often HR managers will say anything other than yes. No, I don't have any regrets. I followed company policies. I reviewed the documents. I determined that we couldn't grant this request for medical leave for whatever reason, whatever illegitimate reason. Again, the same outcome will likely happen. The jury will be much more sympathetic to that employee who was fired, and the employer would look really bad, both because they denied a request for medical leave when they should have approved it as per state and federal law, and also because they're likely to do the same in the future because they're saying they don't have any regrets. So they're likely to screw another employee the same way in the future. Let's now look at the second question.
You don't have any regrets. Secretary Austin, it's very telling. Secretary Austin, has there ever been any accountability for anyone within the Department of Defense for the deadly, botched, and embarrassing withdrawal from Afghanistan? Any accountability?
Hey, listen, our troops evacuated 124,000 people off of that airfield.
Has anyone been held accountable? If a Navy captain grounded a ship, what happens immediately?
Typically, that captain is removed.
That captain is removed. Has anyone been held accountable for what happened in Afghanistan?
To my knowledge, no.
You don't regret.
Okay, so has anyone been held accountable for what has happened? Let's go straight back to my employment law case example. This type of question would usually go to someone who is higher up, who is above HR manager. It could be a VP, it could even be a CEO. So in that example, we have an HR manager who incorrectly denied an employee's request for medical leave. So a question that could be posed to a VP or a CEO would sound something like this. Has this HR manager been held accountable in any way whatsoever for incorrectly or unlawfully denying that request for medical leave? 99 times out of 100, the higher up person will say no. There was no discipline, there was no accountability, no warnings, no extra training of any kind, nothing. Again, the consequence will be the same. That employer would look really bad in the eyes of a jury because they did something wrong. They clearly did not comply with the law. They incorrectly denied requests for medical leave. And yet that HR person has not undergone any training. He was not warned. He was not talked to about this. So nothing has changed. The company is pretty much guaranteed to make the same mistake over and over. So keep these two questions in mind because they're very powerful for your depositions or for your trial if you're an attorney. And if you're a party, whether you're a plaintiff or a defendant in a case, remind your attorney to try to use these questions, if at all possible, in your case to make your side look better and to make the other side look worse in the eyes of the judge, a jury, or even an arbitrator if your case is an arbitration. Thanks for watching.